Hello, visit ProcessMaker IO, a highly scalable, highly resilient workflow engine that is offered as a cloud microservice. It is very simple to begin using ProcessMaker IO. Just register on the website and create a cloud instance. The product is 100% API-based and has SDKs in all popular programming languages. Once your cloud instance is created, you can access the API and write applications against it. Today's example is built based on the idea of a CRM software that wants to integrate ProcessMaker IO workflow into its existing CRM system to gain some advanced approval workflow. The key point here is that we'll be using the ProcessMaker IO API to add powerful workflow functionality directly inside the CRM system. In this way, the CRM itself provides the best-of-breed workflow functionality. The companies using the CRM will no longer have to connect their CRM to a third-party workflow or BPM system in order to manage advanced workflows. For this demo, we have used embedded PMIO into simple CRM called Flarepoint CRM. This is just an example. The ProcessMaker IO API can be added to any software stack: CRM, ERP, DMS, billing software, planning software, procurement software, etc. Whether you are an ISV building software and you want to make it better with powerful workflow, or you're a developer in a corporation trying to add workflow to a homegrown system, ProcessMaker IO is the modern and scalable way to add workflow. Note that you can check out our modified Flarepoint code on GitHub. Here's the approval process that was designed using a third-party BPMN 2.0 editor and is being run inside the ProcessMaker IO workflow engine. The process will start whenever a new loan request is created in the CRM. This is done via a webhook, and here you can see the additional parameters passed on to initiate a case. A callback from ProcessMaker IO to the CRM is used to change the loan status. The case ID is used to match the appropriate case, and the variable amount is the amount of money being requested in the loan. After the process starts in the ProcessMaker IO API, the next step is manager approval, which will be delegated to the manager for the approval. This is called a user task using the BPMN 2.0 jargon. If a positive approval decision is made, the engine will proceed to the exclusive gateway, which will route the process flow to the approved branch. If the loan amount is less than $50,000, then it will route directly to the approved case service task. This task will make a callback to the CRM by the previously defined CRM callback. Also, it will use the case ID variable to address the proper case on CRM side. This action will change the loan status to approved, and the process ends here. In the scenario where the manager makes a decision to reject the request, the engine will process the case through the rejected branch, which will lead to the service task named Reject Case. The logic behind the case is the same, but now we're changing the loan status to rejected. Now, here's the additional logic if the loan amount is bigger than $50,000. In that case, we will require an additional approval by upper management. For that, we have a user task which will be delegated to another person for the approval. If we get the approval, then the process will proceed down the approved branch and reach the approved case service task, as I mentioned previously. Similarly, if the second approval was negative, then the rejected branch will be chosen, and then the process will reach the reject case service task, and then it will end. Companies all over the world today are faced with compliance challenges regarding where data is stored and how it is protected. We all know the drill. There's a lot of pressure and liability regarding data in today's world. Specifically, most companies do not want to pass personally identifiable information, or PII, out of their core systems and into a partner or third-party system, and certainly not into the cloud. ProcessMaker IO has a very unique design based on using anonymized data for managing workflow actions. Thanks to this design, even when ProcessMaker IO is in the cloud and the host software is hosted locally, no PII or sovereign data ever needs to be transferred to the cloud. ProcessMaker uses a local agent, which generates and manages a unique data abstraction layer. The abstraction layer ensures that local data stays local and does not get passed or stored to ProcessMaker IO. This design allows companies to continue hosting their local CRM, ERP, and core systems locally, while at the same time enjoying the benefits of a cloud workflow engine. Of course, as a cloud workflow engine, ProcessMaker requires no maintenance of servers or software and is infinitely scalable. Thanks to the ProcessMaker Secure Agent, all data sovereignty and PII requirements can easily be met, even when using ProcessMaker's cloud infrastructure. So, for many companies that have built core applications of CRM, ERP, loan systems, or billing systems, we now have a way to add advanced custom workflow to your systems by simply adding the ProcessMaker IO API to the system. So let's get back to our example. Here we have an on-premise CRM used to manage customer loans. In the cloud, we have the ProcessMaker IO engine, which will execute the additional custom-built business process workflows. For compliance, we will not pass any PII data to the ProcessMaker engine. To achieve this, we will use a PMIO agent widget, which will be shown on corporate CRM website in its own private network. The widget will act as the proxy to the PMIO engine in the cloud. Let's see how this works. When the loan is created, a webhook is called to notify the ProcessMaker engine that the loan has been created and only the case ID, this is generated by the CRM, and the amount is passed to PMIO. With only these two fields of totally anonymized data, the ProcessMaker IO engine can initiate a specific process workflow for the newly created loan request. This workflow was defined in the BPMN 2.0 standard using a BPMN 2.0 editor. Now, when Actor A logs into the corporate CRM website, he will navigate to the loan request, and based on his permissions, he will see the loan request and he sees the customer data in the ProcessMaker IO widget incorporated into the web page. The widget will initiate a handshake, using the user's OAuth credentials to obtain and display any pending tasks that PMIO has for this user if there are any. So now Actor A sees not just the loan request data, but also the additional pending approval steps. This information is being provided by the ProcessMaker IO API so that it can be rendered inside the CRM. If Actor A decides to execute an approval action, the decision will be passed to ProcessMaker IO, along with the case ID to address the proper case. Based on the decision and the current workflow status on the PMIO side, the engine will initiate a callback to change the loan status in the corporate CRM. Similarly, if Actor B logs into the CRM system, she will be matched by the OAuth mechanics with her ProcessMaker IO user. She might have different privileges and different pending task actions as well. This will be defined during the authentication handshake between CRM and ProcessMaker, thus providing Actor B with some approval steps to complete. Now the actor can submit her decision as well, which will be processed by ProcessMaker engine, and the loan could get a new status based on the advanced logic incorporated in PMIO. Now to show you the live demo, I created a new ProcessMaker IO instance, and I have renamed it to CRM Integration Demo. Here I can see the API URL endpoint, and I'm able to navigate to the Examples portal. On the page, I need to use the Import action. I'm clicking on it, and now I'm choosing to upload a BPMN 2.0 file, which defines the loan approval workflow I showed you before. I am importing the file, and now it has been imported successfully. Let's check the process list to double-check everything went smoothly. Here in the process list, you can see the loan request process and nothing more. Now, let's connect ProcessMaker IO with our CRM system so that it knows which webhook to use when a new loan is created. I'm navigating into Settings, Integration page, and entering the PMIO instance path and pressing Update. Now let's set up the OAuth credentials for the user J. I'm pressing Edit. I copy the access token from the default PMIO user, and I paste the data into CRM system to update the user profile. The second user, Bob, also has to have PMIO credentials, but now I need to create an additional user in PMIO engine. For that, I'll use the API. Feel free to click on the API to get the full documentation on how to use this part of the API. Specifically, there is a How to Create a New User section, which will explain the Add User API endpoint and give you some examples of how to get authorization tokens for the user. I prepared a PHP script to perform these actions, which created a user, Bob, for me, and here is his access token. I'm copying it and pasting it into Bob's setting in the CRM. Let's see this in action. I'm creating a loan request for $500. I provide its title and description. There's also some client data you may see on the screen, along with the ProcessMaker IO widget with some actions. Under the hood, the above-mentioned webhook has been called in the PMIO engine. A case was created in the PMIO engine, and the BPMN workflow was executed. Let's check it here. Yes, you can see a new running case is shown in the loan request process. Since I'm already logged in as a manager user, this widget provided me with some actions that were delegated to me as pending tasks by the PMIO engine. Now I decide to reject the request. Let's see what happens. ProcessMaker proceeds with my action, and the case workflow is completed in the PMIO engine. At the same time, the request in CRM picked up a new status, which is now rejected. Let's create another loan request. This time it will be for $600. We enter some description, the amount, and here we got the information on the screen about the request, customer data, and we see the ProcessMaker widget has some actions. Let's see what's happening in the PMIO engine. We see another case with running status. This time, let's approve the loan request. Refreshing process list, and voila! The second case is completed. We return back to the CRM, and the loan request now has an approved status. That was easy, right? Now let's go down the complex decision path. We will create the loan request for the amount of $50,000. I've made the request as if I were a clerk. When I refresh the ProcessMaker process list, I see the last case is still in running status. Also, the loan request status in CRM has not changed. To proceed further with the application request, I have to log in as the user Bob, who is able to approve requests for the larger amounts. Here I see the loan request. I click on it. There are customer details, and now the widget shows to me the Big Boss Decision action buttons. I click on Approve and validate what has happened. The third case now has a completed status in the PMIO process list, as well as showing as Approved in the CRM application. Let's take a look. What data do we have in the ProcessMaker instance for the last case? I'm using the API endpoint, which returns back the data model contents for the specific process of the selected process instance. In the response, we can see a JSON API structure with the following content. There is the loan amount passed by CRM after creating the loan. There is Big Boss status, which reflects the second approval decision. Case ID is the loan request identifier generated by the CRM and passed after creating the loan. CRM callback is the URI of CRM endpoint used to change loan request status. It is called by the PMIO engine in the appropriate service task. Manager status shows the first approver's decision. So you see there's no other additional data stored in PMIO instance. That is to say that there's no PII data being held in the cloud by the ProcessMaker IO workflow API. All the data passed from the CRM to the cloud workflow engine is anonymized, non-sensitive data. In summary, we were able to take an on-premise, off-the-shelf CRM system that is used to manage loans and store personally identifiable information. We have enriched the CRM experience by adding a highly performant, highly customizable workflow engine API. Our workflow engine is running in the cloud. Even though the workflow engine is in the cloud, at no time did we pass PII to the engine. As a result, we have met all of our compliance expectations while at the same time improving the CRM experience. Pretty awesome, right? Visit our ProcessMaker.io website to get your own process running today. Happy integrating, and bye for now.